Welcome to All Time Quarterback. I'm Jack Tomzak, and that is Aaron Pankey. Say hello, Aaron.
Hello, and good evening.
The Green Bay Packers fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers 28-31. That went down to the wire. Pittsburgh winning with a field goal, making them 9-2, making the Green Bay Packers 5-6. I watched a little bit of the game. John Vitibus is not here because he's on a date with a lady. Aaron, you watched the game. We were going to record this at halftime because we figured it wouldn't matter.
And it mattered.
Packers played some football.
Yeah, I mean, it was surprising that the game didn't even make sense. I mean, to start the game off, they were going through the Pro Football Focus that they do on NBC's, and I was just watching the defense, and I'm like, oh, there's Mike Daniels. He's in the top 15, and then Blake Martinez was a top 15 guy, and then I think Morgan Burnett. We had three guys near
in the top 15.
Top 15.
Pretty good.
The rest of the players were very close to the bottom of like what it was out of. I'm like, that just falls in line with what we were thinking before with all of our players. And then the offense comes on, and I think Jordy was maybe 21st. And then Bakhtiari was the top. So the lineman was only out of a smaller number. And then I think there was another lineman that was also pretty high up there. So again, not a lot of, according to Pro Football Focus, rankings in the game. And so you're kind of thinking, which most people did, they were 14-point underdog in this game. And they come out with some scoring right off the bat and looked pretty.
Even if you don't pay attention to betting or know what a line is, like me, or don't know when people say, hey, what's the over-under on this? You're like, I don't know what those words mean. But you know that since Aaron Rodgers got hurt, the Packers suck. And who mistakenly let them play it on Sunday Night Football? They should have been adjusted to have this game played at 5 a.m. on a Tuesday. But a football game happened.
Yeah.
And if you're new to the show, I don't watch much football anymore. And Vidi does, and you do. So this is just going to be a lot of you saying football things and me trying to cut in to make it interesting.
A little bit. More of that, I think, will work throughout the show. But the Pittsburgh goes down the field right off the bat. They get down to the goal line. We hold them. They go for it, I think, on fourth down, and they do sort of a shovel pass, a rare play, trick play, sort of to a tight end, a no-name tight end, and they score, and then they miss extra point, and then we come down and we get two scores ourselves. We get a Randall Cobb wide open on the left side, and Hundley throws a beautiful pass. And then a little while later in the first quarter, we get a Jamal Williams screen pass for a touchdown. So, I mean, we're up 14-6 in the first quarter, and you're like, this isn't making sense. Again, not making sense.
You started texting me. You and Vidi were texting during the game, and I had yet to sit down to watch the show, the game, because I was doing my other show. And I didn't expect to find when I turned the TV on. I didn't expect to turn the TV on. Let's be honest. I figured by the time we were going to record this, they'd be blown out and I wouldn't have to. Right. But yeah, I've got a ball game. Now, does this mean, and feel free to step over anything that I'm trying to say with actual football knowledge, does this change any of your, have you put down your torch or your pitchfork or your torch fork for Mike McCarthy or Ted Thompson or anybody else you wanted to be fired in the Packers organization?
Well, I still, when you look at the way the team is built, I'm still a little frustrated with Ted. And so, yes, I still think it's time for him to go.
Mm-hmm.
watching the game defensively, our scheme looked good, and the players, they were executing as the best they could. Some of them are not, just not outstanding. I mean, they're all if you make the NFL, you're very good, but none of them, not enough of them are that extra good on the team. And then Hunley looked better, more confident. The game plan looked better.
Aaron who?
Aaron
Rodgers.
Yeah.
We still need to
speaking of Rodgers, pregame, he threw the ball around a little bit at the stadium.
Yeah.
And I think one of the
broke his other collarbone.
No, I think he threw like a 55-yard pass in the air. So,
Aaron, you ever for new listeners may not know this, I played quarterback in high school. Not good. Aaron, you were there. Not good. You ever try to throw a football as far as you could?
Have I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have small hands and weak arms, so it never traveled far.
I want to make T-shirts that say that. Small hands, weak arms.
Can't throw football.
Corey Kempf, who's a lineman, big guy.
Sure.
He and I had I don't know who could throw the ball the farthest, and we both got about 50 yards. And it's been my experience with the professional athletes that I've talked to and some of the former professional quarterbacks that I've talked to, that like a normal dude can throw a ball 50 yards. If you can do more than that, you go on and play college ball, or you go on to the pros. So Aaron Rodgers, with a broken yet healing collarbone, can throw a ball farther than I could as a healthy person trying really, really, really hard to do that.
He's standing there. He's got his hands in his pockets. He pulls them out. He catches the ball from the guy right next to him who just caught the ball. It's kind of like a little toss. Picks it, throws it, puts his hands right back in, and just kind of walks around.
Yeah. Yeah. Did nothing. Whereas there's no way with a running start either one of us could do that, or most high school quarterbacks who are out there.
So I feel better. I feel a lot better. We'll see how the season goes.
I would bet.
I still feel like McCarthy's wasted talent. But if Hunley played this well, he's got some confidence at this point. Maybe the next two games, we play Tampa Bay and we play the Browns. If we can win those, which I've always said, these are the two we got to go and win. And then Rodgers comes back. And if he's already doing that, he's on IR, he's probably, by then he'll be ready to rock and roll. We can win those last games, and we'll see. We'll sit at 10-6. We'll see where we're at.
Now, I'm trying to look at the standings here.
We're a little ways away, further down. So, I mean, the battle is in the
keep looking further down. But as far as the division goes, Minnesota Vikings looking like they're going to, unless something amazing happens, they're going to take it. How are the Lions doing? Are they?
Well, I don't think it's
because everything out of Michigan sucks.
Yeah, it does.
So do they still suck? Because I would hate to.
I think they're like 6-4.
Is that better than us? Because we're terrible. But
or maybe they're 6-5.
Michigan teams.
They're 6-5. They're just a game or so ahead of us. But what's more a little further out of the reach is that the NFC South has the 8-3 Saints, the 7-4 and Atlanta, and 7-4 Carolina. I think that's right. But those teams are all sort of two of those teams should be playoff teams, depending on injuries, though. I mean, injuries play a big part, and other teams are starting to get beat up, so we'll see what happens.
Maybe this is all part of Aaron Rodgers' plan.
Down the stretch. Well, probably his plan, not necessarily McCarthy's. But it gives me hope that we're still on track to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it does. The reason we waited till after the game, like a post-game show should, was that it changes things if the Packers win. They didn't. But you say it's still a possibility?
I still feel it's a possibility. I mean, there's still some things that are going to happen.
Glad that idiot naysayer Viddy isn't here to tell us we're wrong.
And I think, if Rodgers throwing like that, he wants to play. Why would he? If after the two games,
why would a football player throw a football?
Well, yeah, why? Yeah, and then why would he just be like, yeah, let's just sit out the last 3 games, just in case. Those guys want to play.
Brett Favre, because I'm the guy who can't move on. Brett Favre wore his desire to win on his sleeve. I think Aaron Rodgers is more reserved, maybe mature than that. I don't know. But you got to think, unless you're one of those weirdos who retires, you're really good and retire after a year. If you're playing in the NFL, the money's good, but you want to win and you want to play. So I would hope that it's killing Aaron Rodgers not to be out there, and he doesn't want to wait till next August.
Right. So
not with a cannon like that.
Yeah, when they say, "Oh, he doesn't want to play," I mean, don't bring him back. You bring him back. Why not? He's your best player.
What's the downside? He re-breaks his collarbone. It'll be fine by August.
Right.
He doesn't feel pain.
I mean, I don't know if we're in a position to go down and get a top draft pick anyways. And without changes in the front office, it doesn't matter if we have that high pick. So, yeah, why not play him and see what happens?
Yeah. Anything? Did you observe anything in the game that shows that the Packers, sans Aaron Rodgers, are making the changes necessary to do better as the season goes on, or was tonight a fluke?
Well, I think you're seeing some the defense again. I mean, we gave up 31 points. We're fighting through some injuries, but getting some guys healthy has also helped. I don't think we've had a full healthy squad.
Well, or something.
Morgan Burnett came back, so he helped on the back end there. We're playing explosive offense with Antonio Brown's been the best receiver the last 5 years. Le'Veon Bell's been the best running back the last 3-4 years. You got a capable Super Bowl winning quarterback. It's just tough to play a team like that in their house and to play them right there to the end. So are we progressing? Yes. Do we need to get healthy in some spots? Yes, that will.
From what I saw of the game, which was just the parts of the second half, were you shocked that Mason Crosby missed? I don't know, it's a 56-yarder. I'm not sure on the number.
57-yarder.
57-yarder. I don't think anybody thought that was going anywhere. And when is he going to be healthy?
Well, and really, that was a we talked about the kicking game, and then they make him kick a 57-yarder, which was just that was just a dumb move by McCarthy, because it totally shifted. Like the ball was in our court. We had the momentum.
It just completely. At 57 yards, if you have a good kicker in his prime, that's iffy. That's really far.
Yeah.
So to have a good kicker who's not that good anymore and is iffy on a, extra point, bad move.
Now, the guy that kicked the field goal at the end, that was a 53-yarder. I don't think he would have made it from 57.
I agree.
Judging by his kick, it would have been a little short on that one. So that would have been a challenge for him, even, who's used to that stadium in whatever direction. Right. I'm not sure I'm kicking into. But I think a guy made a 57 or earlier in the day, maybe in Los Angeles, where it was probably 70 degrees and
no wind.
Back,
or something. That's far.
Yeah,
it's a far kick.
It's a bad move, but
terrible coaching decision.
And then we just played terribly. It was 3 possessions and 0 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But then the fire came back. We got that turnover, and then we kind of got some things moving, and we moved down the field and scored again. So it was sort of, it just didn't make sense. Again, the game didn't make sense. Like, it looked like we were going to lose, and then they kind of,
and then we did
pull it off. Yeah.
As a fan, I think it's a moral victory. I hate the term moral victories because, frankly, if you don't win, you lost. But to not get obliterated, to be in the game at the end, to have a shot, to have the quarterback have a 135 quarterback rating.
Yeah.
I don't do math, but that sounds good to me.
Do you feel do you feel comfortable with him as our backup now?
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
If somebody who was totally awesome was available tomorrow, I'd say take him. But
Kaepernick,
I have to see him play. I don't know, the fact that new Brett didn't embarrass himself tonight, I'm happy with, and I think he's earned the opportunity to play next week, because you don't want to start over with Jimmy McThird string, who go through the growing pains again.
Did you enjoy when they showed pictures of Brett Favre? And when he throws, he was like no feet on the ground. And then they showed Aaron Rodgers, and he has no feet on the ground when he throws. And then they showed a picture of Huntley, and he's throwing the ball, and he's got no feet on the ground.
Well,
did they teach you that at quarterback camp when you went?
No, you're actually supposed to keep both feet firmly planted on the ground, and then your arm at a right angle up here, and you don't actually use your left hand or your non-throwing hand at all. That's a crutch, and if you pat the ball, that's a tell. You don't want to do that. I was an awful quarterback, and these 3 guys are not. But you don't want to like use all the bad habits of Brett Favre. That's not the part of Brett Favre that made him a great quarterback. Like, you don't want to practice bad decision making. Yeah. Ben had a thought about that. Ben, my co-host on Up and Adam, that the reason
bad decision making.
The reason we don't have good quarterbacks now is because of Brett Favre 30 years ago, and that quarterbacks, and he argues even teams, looked at how Brett Favre and the Packers played and went from that to not teaching fundamentals and young quarterbacks not thinking they had to learn fundamentals. I frankly disagree with that, because I think football coaches know that you have to teach that kind of thing, but what do I know? I've watched like 30 minutes of football this whole season.
I think he's leading on to a point. I don't know if it's directly related to Rodgers, but the percentages of some of the plays that he would make for most quarterbacks are very high chance of misses. And so they went with these shorter 3-yard passes, which are successful in keeping the ball moving, type of stuff. That's why sometimes you watch some of these teams play and you're like, do you ever throw the ball deep?
Well, prior to this season, where it seems the Minnesota Vikings coaching staff is making some really good decisions, at least from the fans' point of view, their offense should chuck her deep to Moss. Yeah, we just chuck her deep to Moss. He's not on the team. Yeah, but chuck her deep to Moss. Get Brad Johnson in there. He's good.
Well, they've really lucked out with their offensive linemen, because they've all stayed healthy. And
this is the year.
As soon as that happens, as soon as that one or two of them go down, that team is gonna be done.
Don't tell them that. Say this is the year, because then they're gonna get all excited and all their hopes will be up. And then when those hopes are dashed, which they always are, the people I live around will be very sad.
Yeah.
My hope, of course, was to have the Green Bay Packers win the Super Bowl that is in Metrodome 2, the Deuce.
That's still an option. That'd be excellent.
Yeah. Is it, though? I mean, of course, Vinny doesn't think we're getting the playoffs. I think, if mathematically it works out, even if it's slim, you got to hope for it. But do you want this Green Bay Packers team to play in a Super Bowl? It hurt when the Packers lost to the Broncos in 32. Like, I don't want to lose a Super Bowl. I know you can't win one unless you go, but it sucks to be second place. Doesn't suck as being like from Detroit.
Sure.
Right.
I just think it would be enjoyable even if we lost, just to.
It'd be a hell of a ride.
Yes.
Injured Aaron Rodgers, lead the team.
Injured, and you come back and you kind of make the playoffs. Probably win it on a coin flip or something like that.
Or a Hail Mary. Yeah. That'd be fun.
And then you make your way through the playoffs just to play just down the road from your hometown and in your supposed rivals' stadium. Well, they
Soldier Field? No. Yeah, I mean, they think, yeah. But it'd be fun for me living in Minnesota that to have that happen and to luck into and some victories and have the Minnesota Vikings, who are like a legitimately good team. So I could, like, for the whole next year, I could just say to my friends, yeah, Packers were really good last year and your team sucked. Because they'd go crazy arguing the opposite, the truth. It'd be fun for me.
It sure would help the podcast.
True. All right.
Not that. But, all right.
So next week,
we got Tampa Bay at home. Noon game, I think. Tampa Bay just lost at Atlanta. I'm going to say we're going to be favored by 3.
What?
Or, yeah, probably 3, maybe 2. And I think we scored a lot more points again. This was a good sign. Our offense got going. I'm going to say we're going to get 28, 30 points in this next game.
I'm going to say 2-0 Packers.
You went 14-0 with this last game, so that was
clearly wrong.
You're close. Well, you're close.
Yeah. I don't really I don't know much about football or math, so
don't you want
betting?
Why 2? Why wouldn't you want a touchdown? How about 9?
I would love a touchdown. It's not sounds. It's gonna be safety and that's it.
A 57-yard field goal, maybe.
Let's say 21-14. Packers. Bet my life on that.
Excellent. Did you have a happy Thanksgiving, by the way?
Stressful, as they all are, but drove up to beautiful Park Falls, Wisconsin, and I didn't want to kill anybody.
That was good.
That's a win. You?
It was a win. I did the same.
Wait, you drove up to beautiful Park Falls, Wisconsin?
Yes. Well, Butternut, actually.
We were mere a mile away. You didn't let me know?
You didn't either.
That's true. Well, F off, because that'd have been a nice visit. We could have recorded the podcast then.
Could have.
Yeah.
Turkey Day. We'll do it next year.
Yeah. We'll talk off air if I don't know if you're going up for Christmas or not.
All
right. Screw you, John Vitamus. This is probably the best podcast I think we've ever done.
And the shortest.
Is it short? I don't know. It's never been a criticism.
The small hands and the weak arms
that I've heard. All right. Go Packers. We'll see you next week after they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 21-14. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, like the page on Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. Have a great week.
See ya.